Hamilton Reserve Bank Limited, which holds more than $250 million of Sri Lanka's 5.875% international sovereign bonds due July 25th, filed the suit in a New York federal court seeking full payment of the principal and interest. The Hamilton Reserve Bank owns over $250 million in principal amount of the $1 billion worth international sovereign bonds issued in 2012. The bonds matured on the 25th of July 2022. The Hamilton Reserve Bank is in St. Kitts and Nevis, and it is a small bank based in a country with 50,000 people with a GDP of almost $1 billion. The Financial Times says the US government suddenly and obliquely saying it wanted to get involved in the lawsuit because of who it thinks is driving this, a Chinese-American financier called Benjamin Wei. The Financial Times, quoting documents, notes that Benjamin Wei serves as the vice chairman of Fintech Holdings, an affiliate of the Hamilton Reserve Bank. The Financial Times quoted a tweet from Hamilton Reserve Bank saying that the Hamilton Reserve Bank expands into Sri Lanka and it fully supports the former central bank governor Ajit Nivad Cabral. The Financial Times also says that Benjamin Wei also sent a presentation to fellow Sri Lankan creditors with a similar image. It reports that according to the presentation made at that meeting, Cabral assured Wei that Sri Lanka would repay the 2022 bond in full and on time. Benjamin Wei had also noted that relying on such explicit guarantees directly represented by the Sri Lankan Central Bank, they bought the July 2022 ISB in large quantities, trusting Sri Lanka would safeguard at all costs its unblemished sovereign credibility since 1948, as assured directly by the CBSL governor himself. When the restructuring was announced in April 2022, Benjamin Wei had sent a letter to Sri Lanka's then-President Gotabaya Rajapaksa on a Hamilton Reserve Bank letterhead warning of the dire consequences of a sovereign default. The Financial Times says that according to the presentation, Fintech Holdings thought that the central bank governor saying a country won't default before it actually defaults is some kind of securities fraud.
It is a known fact that a group from Hamilton Reserve Bank visited Cabral in January. It was reported in local and international media. The secondary market value for Sri Lankan bond collapsed because of the fact that we defaulted. The bond worth $1 billion could have been purchased for half the price. Was an assurance given to Benjamin Wei that the bonds will be settled in July 2022 and buy them for a lesser rate. They have filed a case against us. Was an assurance given that Sri Lanka will not declare bankruptcy and the payments will be made in July. The central bank governor must elaborate on this.
The People's Collective for Economic Justice visited the central bank, seeking the accuracy of these claims via the Right to Information Act.
We inquire into the status of the agreement between Hamilton Reserve Bank and the Central Bank of Sri Lanka regarding the transactions that took place in January 2022. Did they really get an additional profit? What was the profit? What was the deal behind that profit? Is the former Central Bank Governor of Sri Lanka behind it?